do you take away from the loss?
Well, the first thing is you want to watch the film and you want to try to figure out, why did you get beat? And, I really thought our effort was good. I think the adjustment, having a little bit new pieces, guys were in different roles, and at the end of the day, Purdue's a great team. So you don't want you want to be upset about not winning. You want to, talk to the guys about some of the things we can do better. But you also can't overreact, to one game. You in a conference like this, the chances are in 18 games, you're not going to run the table and play great in every game. And a lot of it had to do with Purdue. I mean, they're shooting, the energy of that crowd. You could tell they were coming off of a loss. So you could see right away the urgency that they had in the game. And once they hit those 5 or 6 threes in a row, that kind of was the story of the game. We could never recover from that hole. So we're a pretty resilient bunch. Our guys are good. We were upset about it. We went there to win. It didn't happen. And we've been able to get home and have a few days of practice to work on us, which has been a good thing. Scotty will be out for tomorrow, and that's really the only update I have right now. He's, like I said, when he's ready to get back out there, he'll get back out there, and I know he's chomping at the bit, but for tomorrow, unfortunately, he won't be able to go. Taphorn has been doing some stuff in practice, so barring any setbacks, I think he'll be available tomorrow. So we got to get through today, and of course continue to push him a little bit, make sure he's good. But I've been encouraged by his response to the ankle, and I think he'll be ready to play tomorrow, which is certainly going to help us.
Considering what you did when Derek got hurt, bringing out there, bringing Gavin off the bench, was there any thought to starting Jordan and bringing Isaiah off the bench? Just similar spark giver.
Yeah, I mean, I thought everything was on the table in the last game. It was tough because we really didn't have much time. It was such a quick turnaround with the game, and when we got the word that Scotty was going to not be able to play, it was really a one-day situation, and we just felt that Isaiah would be the guy to start, and but all those guys were on the table. We only had 8 scholarship guys dressed in the game, so part of it too was I didn't want to start Gavin because I wanted to have 2 bigger bodies to bring off the bench. So, but certainly we talked about Jordan, we talked about Isaiah, and ended up going with Isaiah, and I actually thought he did pretty well. He didn't shoot the ball great, but for your first start to play in Mackey Arena at Purdue, and in front of that kind of crowd and on one-day notice, I thought there were some encouraging things that he brought to the game.
So do you think that they've learned what it would take to play without your leading scorer, and especially?
Yeah, I hope so. We've had adversity with guys. We lost our big guy Derek Pardon for 8 games. We haven't had Aaron Falzone the whole year, which he started for us last year. So, losing Scotty's a big blow. He's a terrific player, but we also talked about everybody in this league's going through that. Every team has injuries. Every team has guys who are in and out, and Scotty will be back, and we know that. And it's our goal right now. We got to play good basketball without him. We got to find a way to continue to play 40 minutes out there and get a win without him being on the floor.
Coach, you can still seeing the idea that they haven't done anything yet, but do you think to an extent the game was a wake-up call?
I don't know if it was a wake-up call. I really thought, there was that one stretch where they hit 5 or 6 threes. The rest of the game, if you look at it, we played them pretty even. They had that, and looking at it on the film, a lot of those shots were the shots we wanted them to take. Matthias hit a couple really tough ones. Vince Edwards, he hadn't been shooting very well, and he makes 5 threes in a row or whatever it is. And sometimes you got to tip your cap, and you play on an environment like Mackey. It's one of the tougher places to play. So they get going, and the energy of that crowd, you can get hit with a spurt like that. And our offense was, we got some good looks we didn't make, and all of a sudden you're down by 20. And what I was really encouraged about was we could have quit. We got down by, I think, 26 early in the second half. And our guys kept playing, and we cut it to 14, and that showed me a lot about this group. They didn't lay down. They kept playing. They kept fighting. And again, I just want to chalk it up. Purdue's really good. I mean, and we'll have an opportunity to play them again down the road, and hopefully we can play better and make some adjustments. And it was one game that they outplayed us, and they deserved to beat us, and that's what happened. And we got to regroup and get ready for Illinois. I see a talented team. I know everyone looks at the records, but you look in this conference, the fine line and the margin for error is very slim in this league. And there's always a couple games that could swing a record either way. They're a very veteran team, and Malcolm Hill has always been one of my favorite players. I love watching Malcolm Hill play. He's very versatile. He can really score. He handles the ball. He makes plays. Maverick Morgan has been one of the most improved players over the past couple years. They have a kid in Jalen Coleman-Lands that can get 18, 20 points if you let him get loose from three. And it just seems to me, they're figuring it out. Kipper Nichols is a guy, they didn't have him for half the year. Now they have him. They're working him into the lineup, and he's played really well for them. So you tell your guys all the time, when you play a rivalry game or an interstate game like this, it doesn't really matter what the records are, because they're going to be ready to play. A lot of their guys are from Chicago. They're going to have friends and family here. They have a lot of pride, and we know they're going to play. They're going to play well tomorrow and be determined. And it's going to take a great effort for us in order to beat them. And we have a lot of respect for who they are. Well, we lose a little bit of length, of course. At 6'5", 6'6", with his length, we could cover some areas of the court with his wingspan and his rebounding, his ability to dig down there and get some rebounds. When you have Isaiah and Jordan, those guys are smaller guards. So I think from a size perspective, certainly his shooting, is something that we've missed, because his ability to put it in the basket and stretch the defense. And I think what it does too, and you guys know this, when a really good player is taken off the scouting report, the other guys on your team then move up the scouting report. So, all of a sudden, where Scotty's going to see the other team's best defender, now maybe they're going to put that guy on Vic. So we gotta find ways to get Vic some easier shots, and which I can do a better job of. That's something I didn't think I did a good job of in the Purdue game, getting Vic some opportunities, get some cleaner shots, and get him going a little bit.
I know records don't matter tomorrow, but in the big picture, they do what you're trying to accomplish. And how important is it to take care of business tomorrow night, especially with you've got tough
Yeah,
coming up?
no, absolutely. And I mean, every win matters. And our big thing too has always been, most likely you're not going to run the table in the Big Ten. And what you have to eliminate are extended losing streaks. When you do get beat, which is going to happen, and happened to us last week, you have to stop the bleeding. And you have to find a way the next game. We went through it earlier in the conference. We lost 2 in a row. We lost at Michigan State, and then we came home and lost a tough game to Minnesota, and we had to go to Nebraska, who was undefeated at the time. And we knew the urgency of staying away in this conference from extended losing streaks, because that can really hurt you. So when you're playing at home, you're coming off a loss, there's got to be a little bit extra, urgency to take care of business and get back on the winning track.
NCAA tournament talk has been around your team for a while, but it's only getting louder as we
Yeah.
get to March.
Yeah.
Have they learned to be able to stay in that mode and just focus on the game and not get too far?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really proud of that. We don't talk about in our locker room, we don't talk about the tournament. We just don't. We talk about it at the beginning of the year, and then we put it on the back burner and we say we'll get what we deserve at the end of the season. And I've been really proud. We've tried to find motivation with each game, and I think that's been a good way for this team to kind of eliminate that outside chatter. And it's a fine line, because I want these guys to enjoy what they're doing. This is new territory for them. To be a winning team, to get some praise, and they deserve that. But yet you can't let that then be their whole focus, because you get distracted real easily. So it's a fine line. We're trying to manage. We do have some older guys and mature guys, which I think has helped. The leadership is really good on the team. And the moment they start maybe looking like that a little bit, I try to squelch it real quick. So I become Scrooge a little bit, I guess, with some of that stuff. But I just know how important every game is. And the momentum can shift very quickly, and if you can win and then all of a sudden you lose a couple games, your confidence, the things go the other way. So we have to stay single-minded with our focus, and we've had a good week of practice. I think the bye came at a good time. We were able to get in the gym and work on ourselves a little bit, and not just always be game prepping for the other team. And hopefully that'll show. We'll be a little bit sharper than we were the other night.
You guys in Illinois recruit similar players, a lot of the same players out of the Chicago area. Does that, one, add a little bit of extra motivation, and two, kind of talk about the progress of your program that you've been able to realize some of those guys? Yeah,
I think certainly when I think both of us are trying to develop that kind of rivalry, and in order to be a rivalry, we have to hold up to our end of the bargain. It's not a rivalry if you can't compete and be a good team, to combat what they've done over history. So again, there's a lot of guys on both teams, from the state of Illinois. I think we have 6. I haven't added theirs up, but they have a number of guys from the state. So you're talking about guys that have played against each other since they were kids. So forget about like Illinois, Northwestern, all that stuff. I think now with the rise of AAU, and these kids see each other all the time. So, you know, you're playing against guys you played against since you're 10, 11 years old. So there's always that extra little something to want to win. And, you know, it's a great game. The energy's always good. It's you know, the crowds have been great these last couple of years when we played those guys, and you know, it'd be great if it would become a rivalry. You know, it's only going to be that if both of us become good and make it relevant. And I like John a lot. He's a great guy. I think he's a good coach, and you know, we're both trying to build our own programs though, and I don't think he's focusing on me, and we're not focusing on them. You know, we're just trying to build our program with the right guys and what we're doing. And you know, when you play those guys twice a year, or now once, you know, sometimes once, you got to be ready to see if you can win. I know our guys are looking forward to it.
Talk about the such a need. How do you feel about guaranteed minutes there?
Well, I mean, I believe in the guys in our locker room. I believe that the urgency will be there. I mean, very few times in this season have I felt like we haven't had that kind of urgency or effort. And we had the effort against Purdue. I mean, I watched that film. We were playing hard. It was not because of effort. It was not because of lack of anything other than Purdue was just better than us. And so I feel really good about our guys. Our effort's going to be there. We're going to play hard. We're going to have a sense of urgency. The thing now, will we be good enough over 40 minutes to outplay Illinois? I mean, and that's going to be the story of the game.
You talked about the atmosphere at Purdue. The atmosphere here against Indiana seemed like
it was awesome.
Well. Are you starting to feel like the crowd's really getting behind?
Yeah, I mean, in the Big Ten Conference, it's been really fun. You know, to me, I've been very fortunate to play and coach in a lot of cool atmospheres in college basketball. And these last 3 home games we've had, especially the Indiana, I thought Iowa, again, those 2 games, you know, you walk out here and you feel like it's big-time college basketball atmosphere. And for me, that's something I dreamed of when I came here. You walk in this gym and you see a small gym that people could be right on top of it. And when I played here as a high school player, my last high school game, it was sold out, and I remembered how loud it was in here. And it's something I envisioned when we first started this. So to see that kind of come to fruition, and to see the students start coming out and get loud and get crazy. They actually had some creative chants the other night that reminded me of some other cool venues that I've been in, and it was awesome. And the thing I love it is our guys put so much into this. You know, our players, they put so many hours, they invest so much. You want them to have that kind of support, you know, and you want the students, you want the fans to rally around what they're doing, and they have, and it's been really cool to watch.
There's been a lot of talk today after the Super Bowl yesterday that this has been a really storybook sports.
Yeah.
Don't you feel
Let's
like
add to it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta feel like there's some magic in that.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I'm a big believer as it is. I mean, I wasn't the greatest athlete and all that kind of stuff, but I always believed. You know, I always believed I could win. I always believed that good things could happen if you work hard and dream about it. And I know these guys in our locker room feel the same way. And when you have examples about what's happened this year, you saw what Villanova did with the buzzer beater and what the Cubs did, which has been talked about. And, you know, even last night, just watching that game and seeing a comeback for the ages, you know, of course your mind wanders about what you could potentially do. And I think that's genuine, and I think our guys feel it. And our goal now, though, we have a whole month to play. We have 8 more games, and we can't get ahead of ourselves. We got to keep playing, and hopefully we'll continue to play good basketball and get our fair share of wins.
Defensive numbers are really impressive. How did you get to be such a good defensive team? Did you bring some of the stuff from Duke to teach these guys? You have to mold it to do some drills to get these
Well,
guys? How's that come about?
I mean, the thing that I feel about defense is the one area in basketball where you see if a team is together or not. Because in defense, you need 5 guys communicating as one. Because guys got to know that their help is going to be there. They got to know that if the ball's in certain areas, that their teammate's going to have their back. And so, you know, I know we have a together group. The way they communicate, the way they rally around it. We're a team defensive team. We have a couple elite guys that are good individual defenders, but what makes us good on defense are some of our parts. You know, we really communicate well. We've played a lot of games together, so the guys kind of know how to cover for each other's mistakes. We believe in it, which is a good thing. You know, in the past, there were times I didn't think we believed in our defense. It was just kind of something we did, and we tried to figure out ways to make it hard on teams. our guys really believe in our defense. They believe it's good, and you guys know with confidence that's half the battle. And I think that's a big reason. At Duke we were very much a pressure defensive team. We pressured the ball, we got in passing lanes. We don't do that as much just because our personnel doesn't lend itself. We're more in the gaps, help defense, get the ball in certain areas and try to help each other out. So I think from a schematic point, we're not very similar to my background with Duke, but I think from a mindset point, from confidence, from some of those things, believing in the defense, believing in each other, those are things that I took from my time at Duke for sure.